Right, so we're back in the shed, and we've got a few running repairs to do on my FG Beetle. And I had it out the other day with my mate Corey, and he has a Zen 32 in a stock Losi 2.0 with a tuned pipe. So basically, other than the tune pipe and a kill switch, a pretty stock Zen 32 or Losi 2.0. And my Beetle spanked him. So, yeah, anyway, while the spanking was good, and I was very happy with the performance of my car, and the motors obviously run in properly now. I did sustain a few failures, breaks. So I need to take care of those. And luckily, I've got the spares on hand. And yeah, so let me just run you guys through what I'm going to do, and we'll do some repairs to my little Beetle, and let's have some fun.
3, 2, 1.
I want to do the biggest problem I'm having is this was cast 4x4, right, or all-wheel drive, and the drive snapped right off. There's a universal in there, and it just snapped. Look how clean that brake is. It just snapped off. And then the way these things work is there's the shaft that comes along here, and it goes into a cup, and it's ball drive, and the diff cup just basically goes straight in there. There's splines in there on the spider gears, so it goes into a spline and a spider gear, and that's how the cup stays in. So once I lost this, there was nothing holding the cup, so I lost this piece and the cup and the ball drive and the boot and everything. Luckily, I have a whole complete set on hand for replacement on that, so I'm pretty stoked with that. Next up, coming down here, I've been fighting with the Velcro on my outerwears, and that's about the third or fourth time I'm doing it now, and it's just not sticking. And the last time I had it out, I cleaned the case with thinners, and I really thought I'd done a good job on it, and it sucked. So I've got some stainless steel mesh, and I'm just going to do a mesh mod on the crankcase. I'm not sure how I'm going to stick it on with silicone or shoe goo, but I'll probably silicone because I've got quite a bit of silicone about, and the silicone is heat resistant. Next along here, this is the brake caliper over here. There's the brake caliper. Has an epoxy disc, and then there's a shoe that sits in there, and that came out. So luckily, when I was out the other day with Corey, I went to go and investigate my car because it had stopped working. It run out of gas, and I walked right past my brake shoe. So that was quite lucky. I do have a complete new epoxy disc and brake hex and brake shoe and all the hardware and stuff, so I do have spares on that. But I think what I want to do is it still seems to have quite a bit of meat on it still. I might just flip it over. I don't know. But I've got to repair that. So I'm not sure if I'm going to replace it or just put that one back in. Here is my complete set of drives. And you can see little balls in there and the boots. So you can see that piece there, just snap right there. So luckily I've got a complete set of those on hand, and I have a bunch of this stainless steel mesh, and I'm just going to, this is actually the old case that came out of there, so I'm just going to cut a piece that fits over there and bend it and put in some silicone and just silicone it in, and there, put a piece there and silicone it in, and there. So yeah, let's get on to some repairs and get the bug going. Unfortunately, it wasn't as simple as I anticipated. I've had to strip out the entire front diff, but this also gives me an opportunity to show you guys the belt drive. So there's a belt that goes straight under a channel all the way back to the back diff. So there's no center diff in this. So here is the little diff, and it sits in there like that. And unfortunately, in there, those spline gears weren't lining up. And I've got a feeling, can you see the little piece over the hole there? There is like a bushing that goes behind the spider gear, and I think that has moved, so it's not going in. That gives me a good chance to get in there. There is the front assembly, and you can see the little jockey gears and rollers in there. The front tower and the front bumper. So yeah, let's open that diff and have a look. Okay, right, there's the inside of the diff, and I will point out the problem. So there, can you see that there is a bushing? And it sits behind this spider gear, and the bushing has become, or it's not located properly. So the little splines on the diff cup weren't going all the way in. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna push that in. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna push that in like that, and then the diff cup should fit in without an issue. There we go. Anyway, so now that's sorted, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this back in there, because this is what's in there. Unfortunately, these diffs are not sealed like a low-C diff, so you can't, or an HPR diff, and you can't put silicone oil in without it leaking out, without a modification. And that mod requires you to basically glue these parts together. So then the diff is sealed, and then what the guys do is they leave the one cup in, and then they fill the other side up with silicone oil. So then you can have 500,000 or 100,000 or whatever you want to put on your diff. But for me, at the moment, I'm not racing, just bashing. I'm just going to put a little bit more grease back in there. It seems to be fairly clean. I can't see any grit or dirt in there, so I'm just going to, not that it needs more, I'm going to put a touch more grease on the one side, close everything up, and then that issue is sorted. So there's the one half of the housing. Here is the other half. So you can see those bearings over there. So there you can see the two little idler gears. Yeah, and this system works quite well. So it's fairly easy to put back together. I just got to slide the other half of the case in there, There's about 6 screws on the bottom. The plate, this plate bolts on the top. Yeah, quite interesting. It's unusual, you know. Yeah. Okay, so I've got my my CVD drive all prepped. You can see I've got the balls in there. So what I found is if you put a little bit of grease in the hole first, it kind of holds the ball in place. And there's my drive cup all ready to rock and roll. Let's see if I can get that one in there one-handed. There we go. So the third one's in. Now it's just a question of sliding that in there. And I've got that one back in already. And I've got the whole, I just need to put those back on, and that's all ready to rock and roll. You can see the outer bearing. Okay, so I'm on to the next little step in my my missions with my FG. So as you can see, I've got the motor out, and this is the motor I built a couple of months ago. It's an ESP 30.5. There you can see that nice manifold. It's an OBR manifold, so it's the aluminium piece over there and the black Delrin spacer. No more warping, which is quite nice. So anyway, I'm at the next little step, and I've been quite busy, and I have been cutting some mesh bits to go on my mesh mod. There we go, there's one piece there, and then here's another little piece. So what I've done, see that fits quite nicely, and then there's the last little piece there, and all I've really done is taken some pliers and I cut it with my angle grinder, and I just cut and shaped until I got the shape that I wanted. And then I've had some pretty good success with that. You can see the side guards on my FG. I have siliconed them in. So this has been siliconed in since 2019, just with regular silicon. I think it was marine silicon at the time, fish tank silicon. So what I've got is I've got this over here, and I'm just going to stick those in there. Okay, next up we have this. This is the brake caliper on my from my FG, and what's actually happened is there's some hardware that's snapped off in there. So what I need to do is I just need to remove the shaft, and then I've got a brand new part to go on. So I got that brand new part to go on. The caliper goes on there and there, and once I've done that, my mesh guard is all set. So once I've got that sorted, I'm going to put all that back on. Then we can put the motor back in, and we will be smiling again. Yes. So I've got a fresh TGN red neck and a uni filter. So I've got a fresh one to go on, clean outerwears. I've got my gear plate on, the brake cam and everything on, and I thought before I actually put it in the car, I would show you the underneath part of this so you can see how the mesh mod looks. And then I also thought I would point out the if you guys have watched my 30.5 motor build, you can see the modifications that I had to do to the crankcase to get that little cover on. And there's that mod over there. So you have to literally grind parts of the crankcase away. Get everything done up. Everything, all the linkages are all connected. The roll bar's in. You can just see some of my mesh mod down there, which is awesome. So that concludes the repair and maintenance kind of thing on my FG. Hope you guys all enjoyed the wrenching vid. Yeah, remember to like if you like, and don't like if you don't like, and catch the bug in the field gobbling up more 5Ts in the future. Cheers.